You're staring at the screen, your finger hovering over the checkout button. The moment you click Add to Cart, an intense chemical rush floods your system. You are anticipating the arrival of a completely new, flawless version of yourself. Now fast forward 3 months. That high-end yoga mat is still wrapped in its sleek plastic sleeve. The rugged mountain hiking jacket hangs with the tags still attached. They sit quietly in the corner of your room, gathering dust. Looking at these objects sends a sickening wave of guilt through your stomach. You call yourself financially irresponsible. You accuse yourself of having zero discipline, wondering why you keep wasting money on hobbies you never actually pursue. This behavior points to a sophisticated subconscious defense mechanism. It's a loop known as identity shopping, where the brain tricks itself into feeling the reward of progress without actually changing. By purchasing the polished aesthetic of a disciplined yogi or a profound writer, you are acquiring an external shell. It is a way to avoid the terrifying vulnerability of facing who you actually are. You create a massive gap between your current and ideal self. Authentically closing it requires immense psychological labor and facing failure. So your brain finds a brilliant shortcut, bypassing the hard work by simply buying the tools the ideal you owns. The moment you buy the $200 running shoes, your brain intercepts the transaction. It floods your nervous system with dopamine and translates the purchase as an actual achievement. In that exact second, before you have run a single mile, your subconscious feels like you have accomplished the goal. The purchase becomes the progress. You acquire the psychological reward without ever enduring the sacrifice. This is the costume identity. It is the belief that wearing the intricate props of a lifestyle makes you qualified to live it. This explains our obsession with the aesthetic of beginning. Inside the box, the paints are flawless. The business books are completely uncreased. The dream remains protected from reality. This mechanism is rooted in the belief that your unadorned self is inadequate. For many, this internal sense of worthlessness keeps the nervous system in a state of high alert, viewing a quiet, everyday life as total failure. Many identity shoppers grew up in environments where they felt entirely invisible. You learned you couldn't just exist. You had to project a highly curated persona, the athletic one, the artistic one, or risk going entirely unnoticed. Whenever insecurity strikes, you turn to the digital marketplace to search for a new soul, attempting to buy an external shell that will force you to become the disciplined person you can't yet be. You enter the manic setup phase. You obsessively research the perfect camera, reading endless online reviews, watching hours of video tutorials, and ordering specialized accessories. But by the time the box actually arrives at your door, your brain has completely exhausted the novelty of the new identity. You have already lived out the fantasy in your head. This graph charts exactly how that motivation dies. You desensitize your brain to the joy of creation because you completely replace it with the effortless high of acquisition. Taking an actual picture now feels like a tedious chore. This cycle turns us into perpetual amateurs. We build entire museums of our failed aspirations, and every time we walk past those items, they emit a low-level frequency of shame, reinforcing the belief that we can never follow through on anything. We have to confront the darkest truth of identity shopping. It is a highly sophisticated, expensive form of self-abandonment. Every time you buy a piece of gear to start over, you reject the life you currently have. You tell your current self they are unworthy of investment unless they wear a disguise, and you try to skip the deeply awkward, embarrassing phase of being a beginner. To break free from this exhausting cycle, you must implement a radical, painful rule: zero-cost beginnings. Before you spend a single dollar on an aesthetic, you must face the raw reality of the hobby. If you want to be a writer, you must write 10,000 words on the default notes app or on the back of a torn grocery receipt. If you want to get fit, you do 50 push-ups in your stained pajamas on the bare floor for 30 days. Your brain will violently rebel against this. It will invent a million logical excuses about needing the right keyboard or the right mat, simply to protect the comforting dopamine cushion of the costume identity. Ignore the excuses. Forcing yourself to start with absolutely nothing is a test of psychological truth-telling. It reveals if you actually want to do the work or if you just want to look like the person who does it. Lower the stakes of your existence. Give yourself permission to be an absolute, unpolished, embarrassing mess. That pristine gear in your closet functions as a shield for a fragile ego, a monument to the fear of starting as a beginner. Transformation takes root the moment you stop shopping for a new identity and find the courage to inhabit your current, flawed reality. Tell us in the comments, what is the most expensive costume sitting in your closet right now? It's time to stop shopping and start becoming.